let's talk about Trump.
All right. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Trump is mostly typed an SE dom.
Oh, really? Okay. I've seen I've seen him as an TE dom.
Yeah, he's definitely a TE dom.
Yeah.
He's very much a rational type, highly reductionistic, all about what works.
Yeah.
But his SE in service to TE makes him a natural builder, and then he goes to ideation through NI.
Yeah.
His NI is not a repressed function, it's not an anchor function. He utilizes NI in ways that throws people off, that's for sure. He's trying to optimize a more business approach to how to make something efficient by keeping people outside of America. It's like this is stuff that is forward in its progression. Although here and now is still there, right? Because he has SC, but it's not repressed intuition. Like not even a little bit.
All optimization will, of course, have a future perspective to it, right? Like you optimize for the future, right? Like there's a future perspective there.
And if not for a future perspective, it's going to have some possibilities thrown into it as well. So it's intuition. And when you're ideational builder, what you're doing is you're utilizing thinking, sensation, also thinking and intuition. And that's clearly what he does, right? It's like what you don't see from, and this is another thing where people get confused. Where is Trump's FE? How in like that type specifically, which is the leader, in some systems they will say that's the ESTP. FE in that position for both the SE dom and the NE dom. So some people would say ENTPs, right? We call that the politician. Both of them have a charm with their FE.
Yeah.
Right? If you ever seen Breaking Bad, Saul Goodman, the lawyer.
Yeah, he's an ENTP, right?
Like the FE though, you can see it as he's kind of politicking his way and negotiating his way in order to, because he sees potential in possibilities.
Yeah, with the NE, right?
With the NE.
Yeah.
But the SE down does that too. They're just more impactful and more focused on what they're looking at. But they both have that charm like nature, that natural feel, instrumental FE in service to them being seeker destroyer types. One attached, the other one detached.
So what did you say about like FE in the TE dom stack, like for Donald Trump? Like where is it, and how does
he doesn't? Right. So what you don't see from him is that FE.
All right.
You don't see no charm inside of his protocol chief. His protocols is all about TE. Yeah. There's no charm in Trump. He's very rigid.
Yes. And very pushy.
And very pushy too. Like that's TE. Yeah. All judgment. You know, and that's another thing that gets conflated is judgment from perceiving types and the difference between the dominants. Perceiving types are a lot less reductionistic.
All right. Okay. So wait. So are you saying that all the rationals are reductionistic and
all of them?
All right. Yeah, I see it.
So when you talking to them, the perception types, whether they're introvert or extrovert, they tend to be more open with their judgment. They're not quick to rationalize or be rigid in that way, or at least to the point to where they're openly show it to you. There's more balance going on there because their judgment isn't on the pose. It's not like the strength and the weakness of the type.
They let the moment breathe a little bit. Yeah.
you almost got to bleed it out in order to see the perspective a little bit more, the picture a little bit more when it's NI, or the more like branching out of possibilities when it's NE, or see, or trying to define what is when it's SE, on still trying to define what is, but with more constraint, something that you hold to yourself when it's SI.
Mhm.
It's not like that when it's judgment types. And Trump is for him to be anything like Joe Biden. Joe Biden is a SE dom, right? Like
I
there's a
remember seeing him
you know,
like back when he was with Obama. Like there was almost an impulsivity to him, like
oh yeah.
a childlike impulsivity.
There's a lot of charm when it comes down to FE in that specific position.
Mm.
And I mean Obama, I would type FE dom. I think Obama's a FE dom.
Oh yeah, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, protocol chief, but with SE in service. So
I did.
I
I
think
clearly remember seeing like I think it was 60 Minutes or something with Obama and Biden, and he would actually he would sort of set boundaries for Biden. So Biden was doing the childlike charm thing, and he would be a little bit
uh-huh.
impulsive, and Obama would sort of hold him back a little bit and sort of guide him a little bit within the boundaries set that he thought was appropriate for the situation.
Oh, okay. I didn't see it.
It was back then I could see what was happening, but now of course I
Yeah.
can articulate it much better because I have the terminology to do so.
Well, like I mean, but when you look at them in general, Biden and Obama, they're clearly extroverted.
Yeah.
But you can see how Obama, like you said, he's very reductionistic, but reductionistic in relation to FE protocols in relation to others.
Mhm.
Even when he went on stage and you remember he was joking about Donald Trump, and he was saying all his jokes on him, like making fun of him. Matter of fact,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The moment that Trump decided to run for presidency, I think it was
yeah,
called.
oh yeah, oh he was relentless up there, but in a cool, calculated way.
Oh yeah.
It was like it was very smooth in how he was articulating, yet going at Trump, and Trump was pissed off. There was no smiles
Oh hell
with
no.
Trump. He was serious.
He is Trump is impulsive, but he is still trying to have that sense of progression. Like he's still trying to do something. Like he's not so that impulsive that he's all over the place, right? Yes.
But that's how his SE works for his TE. Not only does he know what to do, and he keeps the right people around him to be the most efficient.
Mhm.
People would say that that's FE. That is not. That's not just an FE thing to keep people around you. Like TE DOMs also need people.
I guess
And
you could say that TE is about figuring out which ones are the potential good ones,
yes,
and FE is about keeping them there. I guess you could argue, right? Because look at what Trump does; he fires every single person he hires, right?
right, because they're not. They don't work anymore. They don't fit
Yeah, yeah.
the
So yeah,
protocol anymore.
he doesn't
Yeah.
have the FE to keep them emotionally attuned to him, right?
Well, it's not about right for him. It's not about and when I say that, I don't mean that it's not happening in the unconscious, like deeper in the background. I'm saying it's not valued.
Yeah, yeah,
He does not value FE. It is
yes.
so clear.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
don't think I've ever seen him do anything an FE action. Like I don't think I've ever seen it.
no, he doesn't do that at all. He speaks from his heart a lot of times. He just
Yes.
don't realize he's speaking from his heart.
Yeah.
you know, and which is an issue if you think and see people would say in sociologists they would say, well, that's related to potentially FI polar, but like no,
Mhm.
because he's not being he's combative when he does that. So that in IDT, that means that his FI is an anchor function, because you can only be combative with your anchor function. because it's shard. It's a broken function, right?
Okay.
So the minute you go haywire, or the
Yeah.
minute you're unbalanced, you will see your anchor, your broken function, your shard
Yeah.
display itself or take over the psyche
So you
momentarily
think
and temporary.
you think all combativeness can be traced back to the shard?
All of it. It starts with the shard.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting. Okay, that would be very interesting to like go through the types and then specifically. So,
Yeah,
what FI shard combativeness look like? Of course,
yeah.
when the values are being challenged, I guess.
It's a with FI shard, it's an inner neurotic tendency
Yeah.
is what we call it in IDT. That inner neurotic tendency, you start to get more neurotic because you're uncomfortable, you start to get imbalance. It's
Yeah.
inner because it's an introverted function.
Yeah.
And it's a tendency. So you start to see traits that really is your FI attacking the host, which is you, because you're an extrovert. So you start to have like hard feelings about certain things. You start to It's almost like your own emotions backfire against you because you're naturally detached. So for
Mhm.
you to all of a sudden become attached, and
Yeah.
it's an FI function, it will be triggering your inner emotions towards itself, towards the host, which is you.
And SC will be in service of FI at that point. So where the pushiness will come out. That's when he gets really pushy, right?
But he gets rid of who? Trump?
Yeah, yeah, Trump. Yeah, when he goes into his FI combativeness, like the SE
Well,
there.
he's
Well,
pushy. He's naturally pushy.
oh yeah, but
But
did you
well,
see him with Zelensky? Like, did you see
yeah.
that? Oh man, that was something
Oh, for
else.
sure.
Yeah, that
No,
that
for sure.
thing was like, yeah, that was probably some FISE stuff going on there.
It's FISI that's that is combative with Trump.
Wait,
So
did you
it's it
say FISI?
yeah. So for his type, because we're saying that he's a mogul, right? TE Dom with SE in service, and his broken function is FI.
Yeah.
So if he's in a combative fix, his broken function, which is FI, is going to borrow the same attitude of itself because it can't recruit the opposite attitude because it's a broken function.
Okay.
The only
Oh.
function that can recruit the opposite attitude is your dominant because it's dominant for a reason. It
Hmm.
has more dynamics to it where it can utilize the same attitude auxiliary and expand to the opposite attitude auxiliary as well.
Hmm. I guess you guess now I think about it, how he was battering Zelensky there. That may have been still be TESE because
It's still TESD.
yeah,
Absolutely.
he still had it was still goal oriented. It was not just shadow boxing, right? He was going for an effect there. Like he
Yeah.
wanted to show Zelensky that you're not the main person here. Like you're not doing what's right. Like you're not doing what's optimal for everyone, right? According to
Right.
Trump. So that's where the
So
pushing
what
is. TESE
the
still. It's not value based. It's goal oriented.
it's still goal oriented, right? So this is the thing, right? When you're in your combative fix, it doesn't mean that you're not utilizing your dominant anymore.
Mm.
It means that you're two things. You're passive and combative. Passive means, oh, because I'm passive and I'm kind of fixated in my original process, which is TESE, the response to that being passive is the flip, is the combative, which is FISI for Trump.
Which was what was happening during the Obama speech where he attacked Trump, right? If you could see him seething there, like he was sitting there seething.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was
Exactly.
FISI. Yeah, I see it.
100%. See, then FISI will do that
Yeah.
because it's thinking about its emotional state, which is not used to because it's not dominant. and also the experience that he's having in that moment is affecting him in a negative way. That's FISI.
I see it.
But as a judger, FI has to lead and not SI, because the perspective is from FI. So he can't go to SI from TESE. He has to go to FI to get to SI.
Okay.
And that's,
wait, hang on.
you know,
So when I use SI though, like TESI, NE, right? So wait, how does that work then? Like,
that's no issue because that's within your major arc. Your dominant is in control of both of those avenues. It can do both of that in a dynamic way.
Okay.
But when it's the minor arc and you're passive, you go into your combatant fix, which is your SHARD, broken anchor, inferior function. So for me, it's FE.
Major arc and minor arc. What do you mean by that? Could you explain that?
Yeah, so the major arc is just two fixes. It's four fixes altogether. It's the pacified fix and a transformative fix. So for you, it's TENE or TESI.
Okay.
Both of those two fixes together creates an arc, right? Because if it was just a line, it will either go vertical or horizontal. TESI, which is what most systems do. All systems do that except IDT. And some do TENE. We say it's the arc, the major arc. So we take into account TENE for you and also TESI. Because you can't turn off your NE. It's a part of TE. That's what makes you an ideator, because it's thinking and intuition working together. But what makes you a builder is including sensation. So that's TESI. So both of those together, both of your auxiliaries create the major arc in service to the pillar dominant function.
All right. So the major arc is to be TESI.
Right. So the major arc could be TENS. So TE dom.
Okay.
Capital N in service, right? Your NE in service to TE, and then lowercase s, which is your auxiliary function.
All right.
SI. You know? So the anchor, it's always anything that's uncomfortable will start with the anchor. Always. Because this is the hyper focus on the rational types to perception types. Because if you're a rational type, you're dealing with rational problems because you got rational strengths. All right. So the same thing goes with perception types, right? So you'll see an NI Dom struggling with SE because they're in a perspective that's so future oriented that they neglect the here and now.
Okay, so how does NI SHARD SE look like? Like how does the combativeness come out there?
Oh, that's them defending the narrative. So
okay, so that's the Prince thing we talked about. Yes,
right. Whereas it's like, this is how I see it, guys. I want it to go this way, and it must go this way. That's SE coming out. It's saying this is the action that I want to make for the perception that I'm seeing that's future oriented. If this doesn't happen, they're going to feel very uncomfortable because they're going to think that what they see is not going to be created or brought to life, or because it's things going against it. Reality is kind of like going against it if it doesn't play out exactly like this. So when you hear that, you're hearing a more not dynamic but more result oriented SE. That's pretty broken. I have high SE, so to me that sounds like broken SE. Although, like, I do get it because I'm very much like that too. But I'm not put off if it has to wait or delay for a second in order for something else to happen first, especially if it's a better idea, which I'm all about ideas,
Oh, yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
So,
So it
yeah.
doesn't bother me as much as it will bother them, you know?
Yeah, what about FE then? Like your FE, if that's your shard, right? So
Oh,
how does
yeah.
that combativeness look like?
Oh, that happens to me all the time. Like, it's if a person is challenging something like the framework, and I think that they're doing it in a way to where it maybe it sounds to me that they're trolling, or and now my FE and any, which is my combatant fix, is starting to assume these things,
Because
right? Because
you see what they're doing as sort of well, it's like an attack on I guess.
it, it's an attack, right? It comes off as an attack to me
Yeah.
because my FE isn't great, but at the same time, it's still being used.
So and
So
your FE values sort of felt like they're under attack. So the trolling is sort of encounter someone who's trolling you, right? They're trolling you to disrupt the social harmony. That's what trolling is, right?
to disrupt whatever I got going on, right? And then the way I'm taking it is it's an attack. It's a personal attack.
Yeah.
Because since I'm a self-reframer, everything is personal, but it's not personal in the form of relations, FI. It's
No.
personal in the form of ideas, right? You're trying to attack an idea. You're trying to attack the principles here.
Yeah, the internal framework.
The internal framework is being attacked or being breached, or,
Yeah.
so we have to defend it now. If we're
Mhm.
going to defend it with FE. So because FE, extroverted shard, is broken, but it's an extroverted function, it will lash out and not go in like how it does you. Your feelings go in and affects you internally. My feelings go out
Ah, okay,
and
okay.
people hear it externally. So you'll hear my ideas start to come out, but you'll also hear some rage. You'll also hear a more pickup in expression because
Hmm.
it's an external neurotic tendency.
So, okay, so this is the difference between introverted and extroverted shards. An introverted shard will cause explicit reactions, while introverted shards will cause internal reactions.
Exactly. Cause it's neurotic, right? It's not something that's under your control. It's something that's happening as a result
Mm.
to an imbalance in the psyche,
Well, wait,
a temporary imbalance.
neurotic though, aren't they both extroverted and introverted shards? The
They
reaction
could,
is always neurotic, right?
they all, they're not, 100%. It's when they're being used, it's neurotic, right? But there's
Yeah,
two forms of it. You could be neurotic in a combative way, or you
yeah,
could be neurotic in a humbled way in IDT.
yeah.
So when you're neurotic in a humbled way, your FI has found connection to your SI, and then your internal guide, because feelings and sensation together connects to guide. So you connect to your humbled guide because that's a humbled fix, right? It's a waving fix. And when that happens, you start to see, like, you start to get affected emotionally, still unconscious, but you start getting affected emotionally in a more, I want to say, like, positive way, but it's happening like unconsciously, but it's not really combative at all. A lot of times it's growth. I would just
Yeah,
say that just it's a growth fix.
I can see this as like identification, right? So the neurotic part would like identify, okay, I said this or this was being said, and I identify with that, so I have to defend it, right? But
Right,
non-identifying relationship to it would just allow it to happen because
right.
really, am me or am I my thoughts and actions, right? Like if I identify very strongly with my actions, then I'm going to have that neurotic response to people attacking me. or my actions, right? Because I won't be able to tell the difference between me and my actions. But if I distinguish between the two, I can disidentify with my actions so that I don't react in a neurotic way when people attack them.
It's just like realization. You start to realize what you're doing, the patterns in being neurotic. You start to pick up on it and say, it's still affecting you. You still feel a certain way. You still feel like not confident here. You still feel like not good. But you learn from it. And you say, okay.
Yeah, you become self-aware, aware of the precise processes that take place and cause you to react in certain ways. You become aware of them, and thereby you can sort of circumvent them, I guess.
You can be affected in a negative way and respond differently than you did last week to the same thing.
Yeah, you disidentified with it. I get that. I see that. I see how that works.
Yeah, that's how the humbled fix works.
Yeah.
And it's still FI led. It's still led by FI.
Yes, because the whole the boundary that I feel is being crossed, I still feel it being crossed. I just don't react to it the same way.
Right. That's growth. 100%. That's growth. But it doesn't change the type neither. That growth is still highlighted on the structural hierarchy, but it's circling around to better yourself or improve yourself in the long term.
I see it. Could be kind of
cool. And then it resets all over again because it's all temporary. Each situation is temporary. All growth is temporary because they're very much context dependent on the situation.
Oh, okay. So, well, yeah, but that's a little bit sounds a little bit pessimistic because you're sort of implying that growth cannot be a broad thing. It's always context dependent. So it has to be learned over and over again, or how does that
always work? Right, because it's off of the principle that we're creatures of habit. Also, we also always learning, no matter the age. And throughout time, you will see improvements, but it doesn't mean that you will have no more flaws. You always have a flaw, right?
Yeah.
And in those times, growth is still necessary, or learning is also still necessary, and this is why it's temporary. But it's also realistic as well. It's pessimistic, yes, but not fully. It's just realistic. And no matter the age, who has no hardships, or who has no struggles, or some people, they say, well, monks, right? They use monks as an example.
Yeah.
And but look at the lifestyle that they live. It's very much extreme. They completely remove themselves from the world and do their own thing. They have to limit themselves for a reason in order to live that particular life.
Yeah.
So it's sacrifice involved. So is it growth? Maybe, depending on the perspective. If you find that ideal to be a focus, then I guess it's growth for that specific individual. But at the same time, them being limited to that degree and not actually dealing by avoiding versus dealing by overcoming. It's two different things.
Oh, yeah. I think they would argue that they're not actually sacrificing anything because what you say they're sacrificing has no value to them, right?
That's that's true too. It starts to have no value when if you live in an extreme environment or extreme situation like that, it will start not to have any value.
Yeah.
But at that time, then hey, it works for them. But that's just for them.
So the Buddha's first noble truth is like life is suffering, but what it's actually meant by that is like nothing in life is worth experiencing like it would always disappoint you. Like that's the actual meaning of what he said there. And so that can be directly connected to what we're talking about, because he's saying like the things that you can do in life are not worth engaging with because they will always disappoint you. So what the monks are doing, they're retreating from that to focus on what they see, of course, is as the real thing, right? The internal world.
Well, yeah, that's their ideal. That's the ideal that they choose to live by and follow. And and that's just, and like anyone, like everyone makes quotes. Everyone like speaks from their own point of view, and they can make it sound good, right? But it's coming from this individual, this person who actually values that way of life.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So for the people who also have those same goals in mind, that will speak to them.
Yeah.
And I have other ways in dealing with stuff. Well, I just don't pay attention at all.
Okay, you're very much a specialist. Like you've dug deep into one thing, or many things probably, right? But right now I see the typology thing. Like you're very specialized in that.
And it's a couple of things too. I mean, I've been doing martial arts for a while. I've became an instructor. I've been teaching people how to drive on the limit on a racetrack. I did that for years.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. See, that's the SE. I mean, my SE isn't really shown. It is in, of course not, right? Inside of a typology community. But that's only because people don't know how to spot SE outside of anything that's typical to the stereotypical stuff. Like, oh, like this is a person who likes to play sports, or yes, that's I mean, that's some truth behind that. True. They focus on reality external, and they're seeing potential in how to manipulate those objects. I do that very well. But it's very much context dependent on particular subjects that I've done for years. And typology seems like it's going to be the new one added on. But it's stuff that I've been doing since I was like 11 years old. So it's different. But that's why some people see me as NI Dom and some people see me as TI Dom, because they're like, well, where's the SC? I see you. They see the intuition, they see the TI, but they don't know which one is ahead of the other because they having a hard time seeing the SE.
Yeah.
Well, they don't know that what I do. Yeah.
How do you spot the SE in you?
You first off, you spot the highly opinionated, rational dialogue or monologue that I consistently display on the videos, consistently trying to explain why this makes sense, why this doesn't make sense, why this doesn't fit here, why this fits here, why this system.
There's a bit of combativeness there, right? Yeah.
There's my opinion is going against their opinions.
Yeah.
So that's an attack to external protocol, an attack to it, right? From the thinking, the reductionistic, detached realm, object oriented in general, it's an attack. I still recognize TE. Like I still go to TE in order to know the points in which I want to attack. Like I just still know how it works. In order to say that it doesn't work like that, it actually works like this, and this is why.
Yeah.
You can be one-sided, but it doesn't mean you don't know the other side.
You have to know something to have an opinion about it.
100%, or have an opinion against it.
Yeah. Well, Well, yeah. Either way, right? You have to know it.
Either way. And it's
tempered by the FE, right? The FE is also very clear there. Yeah, you're not attacking just for the joy of conflict, right? It's tempered by the FE.
And the FE is still in service to the ideas. It's not FE like getting other people actively engaged or involved, getting other people a part of it, like
Yes.
like pushing. That's higher FE. That's FE like in like an INFJ or ISTJ, or ISFJ, you can say, right? We say architect, or we would say the legislator. They both have FE expression, and when they have it, because they're not reductionistic types, they're narrative constrained narrators, but they utilize FE to connect to others, and they do it in a way that's not criticizing them. They don't
Yes.
criticize like that. They
It becomes
reductionistic types,
FE becomes the point and the goal in itself, right?
right? It's an extension to better their perspective. It's an add-on to improve, right? To get others involved. It's an add-on, right?
Yeah.
And they do it in a way that they don't feel, other people don't feel offended when they do it, because the
Yeah.
FP is stronger. It's within the major arc. Uh, I offend a lot of people when I share
Yeah,
my opinion.
I see it. I've
But
noticed this, like in you, I see this. If there's something that you feel outside of your sort of main domain, like you will not comment on it. It's only when it's typology or something that like you would much rather just keep subjective or keep your opinions internal. If it's not a subject that you care about, you will justify fighting if it's about typology, and if you see like the typology community is going in the wrong direction, like you will justify the combativeness by saying that you're trying to correct that.
oh well, that's my way of helping.
Yeah. What? Say that again.
She also has SE, so she's the poet, so she's FINS.
Yeah, FINI, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah. So we both could be aggressive, because SC in that position and NI in that position, it could be very aggressive about their opinions or very aggressive about how they feel. And it's like you're trying to like navigate, but yet not communicating the same language. It's very different. She doesn't do ideational building like I do. She does guided dreaming, FINI, and then an extension to FISE within the major R. They're guided dreamers.
What would that look like? Just like an example of that?
Yeah. So because she's FI, what she values in her relational atmosphere is highly valued, right? It's the most important.
Mm-hmm.
So the people around her is very much following that point of view. It's more like, I only want this around me, this person, that person around me.
Yeah.
They understand me. This person don't. They shouldn't be here.
Yeah. Because they make me feel that here.
Yeah. That's reductionistic, but it's feelings.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're still placing what they want around in their atmosphere, what they want around them, and why. Even if it's not elaborate within reason, like giving reasons and details for things about what they're thinking about, you still hear them being reductionistic within the parameters of what they value.
And the thing that they're reducing is the I guess you could say it's the object, right? They're
100%.
Yeah. So yes, I get it, because
It's SE.
They're subject oriented, of course.
Yeah. It's a cautious SE that's happening when you do that too. It's more passionate. Like, you ever catch FI Dom in a lie? A lot of times they smile.
It's because it's more important to them how they feel about it instead of.
It is.
Yeah. Okay. So I was thinking about her TE shard. So the combativeness, the neurotic combativeness there, how does that look like? Is that she becomes
opinion, outside
defensive.
opinions.
Oh yeah. She becomes
outside sourcing.
Okay, yeah.
Anything that goes against like external protocols, it could be like procedures or certain standards that goes against their own standard could
Yeah.
be a problem. Or what people say could be an issue. They can take what people say, and that can affect them, like to the point where they get hurt about that. Like they're because it's TE, so it's outsourcing um, ideas of whether it's others, whether it's systems, whether it's a structure, whether it's a standard, just ideas in general, and that those ideas can attack what they value or what they
Yes.
hold dear to themselves as individuals,
Yes.
and that could
There
bother them.
can be a threat to their internal emotional landscape, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right. Can we go through all the shards, like just see how the combativeness manifests?
hmm
So we've done
So
T.
any, let's do any.
Oh, yeah.
So the SI dom. What the thing is, when you think about a shard, you got to think about the dominant and why it's dominant, right?
Oh, this is
SI dom.
new ideas are threatening.
New ideas could be threatening to what they normally perceive, like in a tangible way. So a lot of their experiences that they hold dear to themselves, or having things a certain way, certain approach to going through reality, because that's what it is. It's tangible things outside of themselves, but they're constructed. They kind of like are more constrained to certainty, right? More details in their reality that's being highlighted. And that's the difference between the SE Dom and the SI Dom. It's just that they have a certain way for almost everything.
The things become traditionalistic because they get used to it, right? And they just keep
They
on
get
doing
used to it. Yeah. Also, sometimes they could struggle with, like, let's say they worked at a place for a long period of time, and a new opportunity could come, and they can struggle with stepping outside of um, like a completely different job, maybe that has nothing to do with the last job or
Yeah.
stuff like that. It'll be a struggle. And how, it just looks like chaos.
Would it be the physical environment specifically that disrupts the thinking, or?
Any.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because not only is it expansive within an intuitive space, which is like randomness, or that's why it's possibilities, but at the same time, it's it's intuition and it's not tangible.
Yes, I have
So
friends like
yeah,
SI jumps, and they will. And when I begin talking about any stuff, like they will get bored so fast, like they will just their eyes will glaze over, and they will not, and they will be combative. Now that you mention it,
yeah,
like, that will cause them to become combative if I go too much any on them.
too much, right,
Yeah.
yeah, but you'll see any,
It's too much for them.
right, but it's too much of them coming from the external, coming
Yeah.
from an outside. You'll see any in their internal world. So in their environments, you start to see different things, like variety or different assortments, or different. You start to see different things inside their inner world, because NE is still in service to their own experience, SI. But when it's coming from an outside, like object oriented place or perception, then it comes in like chaos.
Tied to the concrete examples.
And tied to the concrete.
You
So
do
it
that
has
by
to be.
amplifying the ME, right? That's how you tie it to the concrete, to the tangible. You concrete it. You exemplify whatever the concept ME is like trying to explain. You make sure to exemplify it by giving examples, right? This is how it manifests.
Right. Exactly. Right. And this is how it manifests. This is how it could be seen. This person that had this experience, it worked for them. Maybe you could try it. That's probably like humbled NE starting to come in the mix when they see something like that. And this, because the NE is tied to TE or tied to FE, because that's the humbled fix, right? It'd be oppositional, any, but it would be connecting to their auxiliary, which
Mm-hmm.
is FE or TE. Those are good ways of self actualization from the perception point of view, which is that detached point of view. So it's like, well, it worked for this person in this situation because
Yeah.
that's the TE, or this person in this situation had the same experience and it worked for them. That's the FE.
And I have a good friend who's an SI Dom, and I will often have to expand the possibility space for him. So because he only sees one direction, like he's just headed down that highway, the NI highway, like, and he's just missing all the exits, the NE exits, right? Like he doesn't see all the options that are there to him.
Whereas NI Dom will jump ahead even if they haven't experienced it at all, but yet they can see it. And now their SE will be trying to make it happen in a more slow, like it'd be lacking detail on top of that. So it'd
Yeah.
get to the action part to it, but how they approach it will still be picking up on certain things that they seen and missing other things that in reality.
The idea about how things are going to unfold, right? They have some kind of
Right.
narrative. Then when you threaten the narrative by being quote unquote pessimistic about it, like the SE, this was what we're talking about with Prince, of course, right? The SE will step in and be attached to the narrative and like be combative about it.
Yeah. So exactly. Like it goes against because it's still subject oriented, but how it's unfolding is the primary focus.
So when they're trying to like create this narrative or like how things will unfold, will the will the triggering part of it, will it be tied to the tangible? Like, will it be a tangible critique of the narrative that will
Yeah.
trigger the SE shard?
Always.
Okay, so that's very interesting. So it will be about the physical limitations of whatever the narrative is related to that's going to trigger it.
It'd be the immediacy that's the issue.
Okay.
So
So
it's yeah, because to them, that term less is more.
yes, it would be the NI jumping to conclusions, where SE would an SE critique
100%.
would be stop jumping to conclusions because you're not seeing the entire picture there.
They envision it a certain way.
Now let's do a SI shard. So that would
SI
be
is like so these people are very much they're seeker destroyers, but it's from the possibilities intuitive.
yeah.
So it's all about uh potentiality within the
Mhm.
intangible. And you'll
Yeah.
start to see them throw in all these possibilities, have all these different ideas. But in the midst of throwing in all these possibilities, what they're not doing is settling down quickly.
They're also missing detail, right? So I guess it's about the details in the dreaming.
100%. They're
Yeah,
missing
yeah.
a lot of details because they're fluid with possibilities.
The trigger is grounding, like when other people try to
Yeah,
ground their thinking.
too much, too much,
Yeah, too
too
much.
much
Yeah.
grounding. Yeah,
Yeah.
because grounding is still necessary, even if they're like intuitives.
Yeah.
But grounding them too much to the point to where they see no easy way out. Because they want to expand, expand, expand
Yeah. It's what makes them happy.
when
Yeah,
it
yeah.
comes down
It's
to
so
possibility.
expansive. So when you try to ground them, you stop them from being expansive. Like you're asking them to reduce in a sense, right? Reduce to what's grounded. So you're stopping
Yeah.
the any nature that's expansive.
And let's say SE DOMs now, right? With NI anchor
Yeah.
and the NI. So with them, it's still expansive, but it's within a tangible environment. So you see these individuals kind of like they can hyper focus. It's almost like when you see them, if you ever pass one in the store and they're kind of like, you could tell that they have their focus on something and they trying to get to that out and they just get to it. Like it's almost like nothing can get in their way. This speaking about the energetic of being a seeker destroyer, but within the tangible environment,
Yeah.
it's almost piercing through reality to go get what they want.
So this is about future implications, right? NI is about unfolding over time. So when you point out that if you destroy this thing, quote unquote, destroy,
Seek.
the future implications will be bad for you. That would trigger them.
Uh, you're talking about with the SE down?
Yeah.
Not getting to that destination could be a trigger. Like, and that destination could be very much experiential, but also in the moment. Not getting there right now could be a trigger. You know, this is how NI works for the SE Dom. And those, but when it backfires and they start to get more neurotic with the anchor, uh, not seeing where they want to go, not seeing where they want to be in life. They have these moments of life changing, wanting to change their life in order to live up to the new perspective that they have found. But yet they still attach types, SE DOMs, perception types. So the action is always there, but in the moments in which their NI is being neurotic, they shift their action to insight. And that insight will almost like it will trap them temporarily. Or sometimes you hear them when they're neurotic and they go humbled. Sometimes if they're doing like a monologue, you hear them speak about life.
Yeah.
You hear like, like, you know, I was in this area where the trees kind of like the way that they came together. Um, it reminded me, or you could tell that it kind of resembled this particular thing. And now when I look at a tree or when I look at a leaf, I'm connected to, you know, or it resembles or it's symbolic to the meaning of life, right? And what life means. Right? They try to put symbolism into reality.
Okay.
So, but since they're object oriented and they're sensing types and they're observing the external world, what
Yeah.
NI does when it comes in is try to add meaning to those things that they perceived externally.
And so the reason that they don't necessarily see others as like they're attached to their own personal experience to the degree where they don't see that their personal experience may not be the same experience that other people may have in the same situation because of the differing cognitive functions, for example. This is a great video, by the way, for you. Like, how does the SHARD manifest? Like this, I think I've said that before, but that is a very helpful video if you would do.
One of the things that get confused in the community a lot, and that's why I want to focus on the pillar and the shard and IDT, because it's like when you hear other theories, they speak about everything about a type except the dominant function and the anchor as much. They have all these dichotomies around everything in between, but not many speaking on the dominant, other than rational and irrational, but yet they don't know how to type rational, irrational, because they don't have as many as IDT has. When we sell self-reframer, detach, we're only speaking about the dominant. When we say attach, protocol chief, we're only speaking about the dominant. Or when we say ideation, it becomes more specific. Oh, that you know that's thinking and intuition, and a builder, ideational builder, you know that is thinking, intuition plus sensation, or thinking, sensation plus intuition. They're both ideational building processes.
And this determines how the rationality will manifest, will express itself.
100%. It starts with rationality and it ends with rationality. Your pillar is rational. and your shard is also rational.
Yeah, you mean
Weakness is rational.
If you're an irrational type, your dominant and shard will both be rational. Oh,
Yeah. Everything is pillar shard, pillar shard, pillar shard, pillar shard. But for you not to get your type here is, wow. Are we actually speaking about the same exact things? Probably not, right? And that's why I want to speak to like Donald Trump. To type him at SE Dom is crazy. But he's clearly a protocol chief.
Yes, I'd say so. It makes more sense to me. Like that's a very it's seen Trump as like someone who's like fencing like around, like he's just a wild
he can't
man.
even move.
There's always strategy to the wildness, to the craziness. Like there's also always some kind of thought behind it.
He's also very rigid in his movements. Studying how people move my whole life, right? And I'm not talking face expressions, solely like ontology. I'm talking like the whole body, right? A lot of times I could tell, I'll get very close to a person's type just by how they walk down the street.
It's interesting because the rigidity of the body is probably it's a mirroring of the rigidity of the mind, right? Because if you're trying to reach a certain destination or trying to lock something down, you have to be rigid. Like you cannot lock something down without being rigid. And like that's probably mirrored in the body, right? Like you tense up.
It is 100%.